So team, welcome back to the continuation session 2 for creating a keyword-driven framework using Selenium, WebDriver and Java. So what we're going to do is we will continue with what we had planned initially of our whole approach of creating the keyword-driven framework. So please make sure that you refer to your documents in terms of how we need to create, and try and document everything that we're doing or we plan to do. That way you are starting with something that you expect to do, you are planning to do, and then all your thought process, your thinking is done initially. So finally you're focusing on more of the execution part of it. Okay, so now at this point I just want to make sure that the audience is able to hear me fine, because the previous one had a lot of issues. So if there's anyone having issues, you can let me know. If not, we'll continue. Okay. So what we're going to do as part of this is go back to look at the plan, creating a list of keywords. So while we have so many other phases to complete, the first phase itself has got to do with what keywords really are. What are the most frequently used ones? But before that, we need to understand something about object elements and the methods. That is the where and the what portion of what I keep using as part of automation. And then going about listing the keywords. So now to do this, I will again go use a Word document that will help me to put all the thoughts together into one place. So keywords is the name of the file that we're going to use, and we're going to talk about what those keywords will be. So for this, the beginning is basically what a keyword is. So you will honestly, team, for anything, the first time is only a definition. But as you go about learning more and more about it, that is when the real definition comes to in your mind. And once the definition comes and sits in your mind, that's when it becomes easy for you. So you got to understand that every test case is built on test steps, correct? That's the basic building block of what we're saying. So give me a second here. I'm going to go to that application. So each test step is nothing but a user action, something that a user does, like as simple as click on a link or do something, enter some text here and so on. So these actions is what we're trying to call as keywords. Now, as part of this overall approach, if you noticed, we did a test case 002, very simple sample thing that we did in the earlier session, and we said that this is on the QA on air test, right? So with QA on air, if you go to the website and click on consultants, right, here is where there is a form that is helping us to collect information. So as a test case 1, we said, hey, we want to check the title, this and that. But with the test case 2, we want to go deep and go into each of these fields, right? So each test case can be expanded into multiple steps. For example, in this case, user visits QA owner, clicks on consultants, fills first name, okay, then clicks on what button, team? What is that button here that we have? Let's see. Apply, right? So I'll just say apply. Clicks apply button, okay. Then verify that the test, verify that, okay, let's see, let's do it, right? So I'm going to say Karthik, because that is a common name that I'm very used to. Apply for remote on-site jobs. And here is the error that we expect. Okay. So the first thing is you didn't enter the last name. So I'll say that verify that the test has the words. You did not enter a value for last name is present. Okay. Then close the browser. So this is our what test case, and this test case, team, is built upon what? Multiple steps. Each of these are steps. Now this is the format in which we're writing. Later we will move into a different format, team. All right. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to understand what these are. Right. So this is done. So I don't need this message anywhere. I'm already connected to PC. So this is what we're trying to accomplish. Even this I don't need. So every step can be designated to a specific keyword. And for example, this is you go to a URL, right? And then clicks on consultant. You click where on a link, correct? And then the name is there. Phil's first name. What do? You enter some text, right? Clicks apply button. You click a button. Okay, verify that the test has the words. So what are you doing here? You are verify text. Team, excuse me for the format, because um, it's not what I would like it to be, but it's good enough, I guess, for now. Close browser. What is it? It's another activity. So each thing is one single individual step that each of us perform. So I am saying that each of these activities that are being performed are keywords. So if you think proactively, all right, or just analytically, what are the different, number one, objects or elements that we come across? Why? Because if you notice, all this automation is built on what team? Two basic things, where and what. Where do you want to do something? Because it's automation is all about doing something, right? And then the next one is, what is it that you want to do? So the where portion is what is the address of what? The object or the element that we want to work with. The what portion is the method, okay, or the activity that you want to perform on that. Of course, there is something else called info or something, additional details that you need to provide. For example, you need to enter text, right, into first name. So the where portion is the first name, right? The first name is the where portion, that box. Entering a text is the method, that is the what portion. But the name itself that you see here is the info, the additional details that you need to apply to. All right. So this whole idea of putting that information, in fact, correct, data, right? Anita, thank you. It is the data that you're trying to put into that specific object or element. So that is all about automation. Now we are saying this specific activity, okay, the element, okay, plus the method minus the data equals a keyword. So I will say that each of this activity, I'll call it as a keyword. And then for each keyword, I will create a reusable Java function in this case. Why a Java function? So that I can, okay, I'm good that I have the pen now. I can create a box and say that this is the keyword to enter a text. What are the things? Enter a text into an edit box, right? So enter text into field. So I'll just say EF, enter for entering, that is the act method, and F for field, text field or whatever. So depending on which edit text box am I saying, is it this box, or is it this box, or is it this box, this method will perform that activity. The method will always be to enter the text, enter. This will be common. You will always enter. But what will change? The where portion in this case. All right. And the data. What is it that you're going to enter? Those are the things that will change. But then at the end of the day, I can build a test case on each of these keywords. Okay, so I can say the different keywords are there. Now, if you think about it logically and say that, okay, let's talk about creating some of these keywords or seeing what could be all those keywords that we need to build. All right, so I'm gonna first make this white because then the background is gone. no more this. And then I'm going to call this as the element, because Selenium talks more from an element perspective. They had to call it element because QTP already called it as an object. So they wanted to find a different name. Okay. And then the method is still a method or a function or and so on. And then let's see, data. I will say, okay, data is there. In fact, this is a good, even this is good way to create a framework. Right. So 3 columns right now. Yeah, right. Then the keyword name itself. Keyword. Thank you. My audience is sometimes much more knowledgeable than I am, because I've done so many of these and some of my audience have seen so many of it, and they bring so much experience themselves that they really pitch in, and I'm glad. I really feel I enjoy these sessions so much. All right, team, let's do this. Which color? Okay. Something. So let's talk about different elements, team. What are the different elements that you know? Doesn't have to be in an order. Tell me, team. Use yourself. Name is not an element, team. See, name is there somewhere, but it's not an element. I'm happy. See, everyone else answered correct, but someone answered incorrect. Then I'm happy because it gives an opportunity. Only when you make a mistake, team, you learn better. That's what it is. So yes, I think even before URL is not an element. Okay. It is not. So okay, very simple. Element is an object. So in brackets, if it is simple, I'll say object. So what you see on this web applications is what it is. Okay. And some of these concepts, team, will not settle in well if you have not watched those preliminary videos which I've asked you to watch. All right. Specifically, if you go back to ITeLearn.com and that what I've shown in the first video, you need to watch that. So let's go this input box, or let's say text box. X box again, X path is again not an element. So text box, right? Then there is a link. Drop down list, I'm going to call it the list. Button, right? And then what else is there? Anything else that you put? Label. Good, thank you. Or text. Can I call that as a text? Because it can be label, it can be text, anything. Right. Radio button. Checkbox. Right. Image. There you go. Image. Table. Okay. Table. Fair enough. All right, team. So almost we've got to it. Let's talk about browser. All right. So div, error message. I'll put it here, but we will figure out how to handle those. Okay. These are good concepts to know. So there's a pop-up. Is that an object by itself, or what we call it as a light box these days? More. So here are the different objects. I think I put a link right earlier. Yeah, I put link at the top. So now for each of these objects, what are the methods that you perform? What do you do? For a text box, what is it that you do? You enter a text into it, right? So, or you type into it. Let's say type, okay? I'll tell you why type later. Okay, I'm going to tell you why type later. Team, give me one quick second. Sorry, team, small 20 seconds break. So method, so you type on it. Link, what do? You click on a link, right? And from a list box, what do? You select. You can also open a link, but basically the activity that you perform is click, then it opens the URL for you. Then it goes to that page, correct? Button also click. Text also, what do you do with the text, team? You check, you enter, type, view, verify. Yeah, you view or you read. Let's say we will say text read. Okay. Radio, what do? Radio, you select something from the multiple options, right? Checkbox, what do? You check or you uncheck. right? So checkbox could be checked or unchecked. So two things you can do with it, right? So then what I'll do is I will divide this into two rows, and I'll call this one as check, the other as uncheck. Okay, then image, what can I do with image? A lot of things. I can check a lot of things in image. You can do a lot of things, team, but you can check specific information also, like URL, image URL, or alt, or title, or visible, not visible. So a lot of properties you can check, but that will become specific. So what we can do is I'll call as another one as element property, or property check. You want to check a property for any element. So probably that is something that we might want to do. Sometimes it could be miscellaneous, right? Logo is also something part of image, right, Sita? So table, what do you want to do at the table? Again, is it existing or not, and so on. So right now, I'm really not sure. I'll put a hyphen for it. Browser, what can you do, team? You can open a browser. You can close a browser. Navigate. See, I'm wondering even if I have to take the session, because a lot of people are already answering it, because you are thinking through it, not only because you have seen my sessions earlier, but you're thinking through it, right? So you can open a browser, that is open IE or a Firefox and so on. Then you can close a browser, you can navigate a browser. So for each of this, or for some of this, you may need to provide a data. Okay. Then there is a keyword. Keyword is basically the unique name that I'm going to give to this combination. So for example, for text box type, I'll say text box type. That is the name. Okay. For link click, I'm going to say link click. So this is what I had seen in the recent Excel file or Excel version, that I had one column with one name, other column with other name. The first row I typed by joining them together, appending the text. And then from second row onwards, it's all giving me automatically that option, saying that if that is what you want, I will do it for you for free. So then I clicked enter, then it filled up everything automatically. All right. So I was not aware of this feature myself. I just came to discover it sometime, in the previous QTP session. Anyways, so this is the names of the keywords. So what is it that we have done, team, now? We have listed those keywords. Okay. We have understood what the object element method is. We have also seen what the most frequent user actions are, and in fact, based on that is what we have listed those objects, the keywords, right? So now what we could do is, the first thing is to save as version 1.1, because as you make progress, you may want to retain it as different versions. Especially if you're doing it physically in your drive and you're not using any of the like VSS or a shared services and so on to store and do a version control on your files. All right. Go back to your plan and say that, hey, list of keyword status is done, completed. All right. Now we can then get into creating a test case template, test steps template. It's very simple, which we can do quickly in about 15-20 minutes. And then we're going to go about this, which is where the technical aspects will start coming into. So this session, very critical, number 4. All right. And I'm going to put this into red, in fact. See, don't get scared if I put it into red. It's just the fact that it's got a lot to do. It's a very important thing. The next one is also very important for you to understand. If you understand this and this, your keyword-driven framework is in fact over. Everything else is just decorations around it. All right. So this is the main thing. This is the engine, and this is the engine, and this is like the all the different parts that you're trying to put together. Where is it coming from? All right. So team, just to let you know, this is my framework. This is a framework that I am developing. I am constructing. All right. Let's say an architect goes to a school. He learns the basics. Then he goes and works as a junior architect under some other senior architect and is getting on the job training. Right. As part of that, Sorry, team. As part of that on-the-job training, he or she is doing learning by looking at someone. Then they go and experiment, and they're not going to build the same thing every time. They're going to keep changing, they're going to keep experimenting, and so on. That is what I've been doing. I have been creating this. In fact, this keyword driven scriptless framework I have kind of created from scratch over a period of long time. So there's nothing standard about it. Okay, it's not absolutely standard thing. It is a very custom build. However, this is the main concept of how you create a script-free keyword-driven framework. All right. So, team, just let you know, someone asked me, div and element, what is it? You have not known. So, yeah, in fact, we have not come to this. So I'm going to put this as hyphen. I don't know what is the div. I actually know, but let's assume that I don't know. Even error message, let's say we don't know. So we're saying that there is a whole list of things that we need to do, which we are not yet aware. In fact, what we're going to do is I'm going to put this here. Cut it. Oops. Not cut. Why cut? Delete. Why is this not highlighting enough? That color combination we have to change. And here, instead of data, I'm going to say status for now. Right? Instead of data, I'm going to say status team. And right now, nothing is done. Everything is no. Status is incomplete. All right, not started. As we go about creating those reusable functions for each of them, we're going to say that completed and so on. Very simple, team. See, I don't want you to build these frameworks right away. What I want you to do is take these frameworks, get your job if you're not into one, or get your QTP or Selenium projects, then start using the code which we have done automatically, directly, customize it for your project. And then over a period of time, create your own. But the reason you're going through the depth of everything is, one, you know exactly how to do it. Okay, you've practiced on it. If there's a question that comes as part of your project, someone is stuck, or in an interview, you're able to answer really well for it. Okay, that's the intent.